What is up, DTube Steam blockchain? Today I want to talk a little bit about something that I may have covered briefly in other videos, but I want to do it again here because I'm not sure if I have done it in the past. But that is a topic of the age of remix. That this may actually be the age of remix. So I was again, I did an experiment with Face app, which is an app where you can sort of create custom faces. And I sort of took a face, my own face, and sort of tweaked it a little bit. And then I took that photo and tweaked it again. And I took it again and tweaked it. And it was quite fascinating how you sort of realize, oh, wait, we already now can sort of create something unique from feeding some data, and then we can create some unique model, like a unique human. Cool. So we first started to see this in Sims games maybe 10 to 15 years ago, and it was like, well, yeah, this is kind of sweet, but it's kind of silly, it's in a game. But then it's like, okay, now we can do the same thing, but in the smartphone and with custom faces combined with Bing search, image search, so you can feed it some data, some photos, and even that can remix into something else. And eventually we're starting to have it with these apps now, Face app and these video software where you can like change faces and everything. Eventually all of this is just going to be one tap, like one tap remix this. I already have it in Spotify. I have it so every week it sort of creates a custom playlist by looking at what kind of data, what kind of stuff have I already listened to, and it creates new songs every week. And also I can use the radio feature, and it just generates songs in a cool list, and it's usually pretty accurate to my taste. So why can't you not do this in everything? Like, just generate something. You want to generate a blockchain, you want to generate a token. It seems like it's going to cover every single niche industry. Videos, photos, creative works, artist work, and audio, sound, and people basically is going to remix everything. They're going to look at old works, and instead of having to create something fully brand new, they can sort of look at old works and maybe they tweak something because people sort of want to see something new, cool. And it kind of becomes as everyone can sort of create customized experiences. And this is something I talked about in the past, but it really is a remix age because there is so much stuff that people want to have remixed. But it's kind of interesting with creation how many different variations you can do of something and still make it super engaging just by tweaking a little bit of a thing. And that's something that I noticed. For example, we see this in smartphones where they're tweaking a tiny little thing with the phone and it feels like it's something totally brand new. It feels like a brand new experience. And this happens every year. There's always some new thing. Maybe they added a camera, maybe they added a little bit more bezel-less design, maybe you can flip it around, and some stuff are gimmicky but some stuff stays. And then people look at what people have done in the past and they try to see, okay, can we remix, can we try to make something unique here. You basically see this in the movie industry. They're sort of looking at famous shows, Spider-Man and all this, and they sort of try to see, okay, can we do this again? We just tweak it a little bit and then we're gonna have a massive success. But now it's gonna be more of an intense version of that because everyone's gonna have it in their phone that they maybe they're doing something and then they wanna edit something or they wanna customize something. We're sort of seeing this rise of let's say the people commons or the creative commons, where people want to use stuff and remix it. and they don't want to have this weirdness of copyright strikes and all that, like, oh, you can't use this 30-second song, or oh, you can't use this short snippet of video. It's very silly, but it seems like eventually people will just be able to use everything, and people will find other avenues of making revenue, but probably focus on bigger stuff and really giving people what they want, right? And giving people what they want, it probably is going to take more thought to see, okay, so can we do something here? And we're seeing it, how they're doing that in the movie industry, how much money they're spending on like making a movie and stuff like that. So they're really focusing on making bigger stuff, while the average person can experiment, can also now starting to experiment with remixing stuff and be more creative, generate songs. I see this with AI songs being generated, and soon we're gonna have that with video as well. Some people are saying in some ways that it will make people less creative, but I think what's just gonna happen is people are just gonna enjoy the benefit. They're gonna see that, well, no, we're always gonna have creativity. It's just that people are going to be able to create more sophisticated stuff, right? But yeah, AI is really intense when it really comes in, like so much stuff that it basically can do. So it's kind of fascinating, and it's a great time, especially now for creators, whether it's music, video, or anything else, even in other sections of life. If maybe they want to create something physical, then you do have the 3D printing stuff that you also will be able to do, and it's kind of cool. It is kind of fascinating, and of course, a big part of this is going to be that people are gonna probably look at other people more and see that, well, maybe we can do something with humans, because humans are sort of a mystery in many ways, and the way I see life in many ways is in feeling tones. So I can sort of look at the same topic. It kind of depends on the feelings I have for the moment. And the different feeling tones is like, you have maybe one thing in life that you're looking at, but you can look at it in 50 different ways or 100 different ways, depending on your mood or your feelings for that particular moment. And that feeling tones are really interesting with people that have introverted feeling a lot, where they really do not just look at stuff rationally. They look at it more from a feeling perspective and the feeling tones, and that can be quite confusing for people that just use logic all the time and are just looking at life from that. Well, I think the feeling tones in many ways is great for remixing. It's really great for remixing because you can express yourself in small little nuanced ways that might be a tiny bit different compared to something earlier, right? And of course we see this in a lot of creative works, how sometimes you don't know what it is with a particular piece of creative work that is making it engaging or fun or whatever, but you sort of know this is something that's kind of cool, this is something that sort of I want to be a part of or whatever. And that's kind of cool with creative people and people that like to remix stuff, how it's just gonna grow, like it's just gonna expand. And the cool thing with YouTube and Instagram and all this is these platforms are still growing, right? It's not like they've stopped growing. They're still getting new users and stuff like that. So that is kind of interesting, that it's not like people right now looking at it already like, oh, should we jump ship to something else? Maybe we can have the old and the new working together. For example, the blockchain stuff and the decentralized stuff a little bit. Of course, you can make the arguments in many ways that there's always something centralized with all systems, even Bitcoin. Main team they probably decide what updates should be done and stuff like that. So, but of course, systems can work towards more decentralized systems as well. So you can have this combination of both decentralized and centralized systems, which a lot of people have talked about a little bit, that you sort of can have these two systems sort of work together, because it's not just black and white, that something is super bad and something is super good, right? And when people have more time over, they can look at stuff, they can look at society in more ways. They can sort of start to look at these stuff that people haven't really looked at in the past that much, because they just did not have the time over. But yeah, age of remix, I really think that we're gonna see that. And it's like, because we know that so many more people want to be like super creative and stuff like that, but they just haven't had the tools. You used to need to have a super expensive camera. Like I bought in 2014, I bought a camera for $2,000, and now I can sort of do the same thing in my smartphone, and many times even it's like it's almost the same kind of quality, or sometimes even better quality, especially with these front-facing cameras these days, and that a lot is mainly just light. That many times it's not even that much about the camera, it's more about the light. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. So it's like when all these tools, technology and software, when it becomes really, really cheap and affordable and accessible, that people can access this, and it's not just about be able to afford it. You of course need transportation to be able to get stuff quickly. So people need cars, people need stuff like that. Like one big fun reason is like when we're gonna have like self-driving cars, and like when stuff can like deliver itself, and when you don't need, for example, right now if you buy a phone, you usually have to either go to the store or it's going to be delivered to some store or like a pickup point, but you still have to have some ID or something like that just to get the thing. And this kind of slows down stuff in many ways. It should just be the way where a person just buys something and it just gets dropped outside of your door. And of course in larger countries some people have that, but I mean having that on like a full-on mainstream scale where everyone have access to, everyone can get the latest tech fast. If they are a human genius, they should be able to have all that ready from day one. And same with the updated payment systems, the token systems, they're going to be amazing, because it's also going to give people faster access to stuff. So it's not just hardware and software, it's also about the access to stuff that is going to change a lot of stuff. So when super creative people have that, they're going to do even more remixing and be even more creative, and it's really going to be great to see, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about that in this video. Hopefully people enjoyed, and I see a lot of creative people on the Steam blockchain. Seems to be them that are mainly interested in producing a lot of stuff, like very, very creative people. There are some very interesting writers on the Steam blockchain and some very interesting video creators on YouTube. That's kind of cool. And it's kind of cool to be a part of something in the early beginnings. It's kind of like be part of YouTube 2005, 2006, 2007, where it was still very, very early, and it wasn't, it was very early. It was kind of like a small team. And then eventually more people come. And probably going to see the same thing in this industry. But yeah, it really seems to be the age of remix, and I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm going to buy a MacBook Air quite soon, and maybe the Galaxy S10 Plus. And it's really cool now, because now we can just wait. Now you don't even have to upgrade phones every year. Sometimes you can even wait 3 or 4 years before upgrading, but you sort of know every year they're gonna have to produce something new epic. And Samsung and all these big hardware companies, they're basically gonna put in probably more money into R&D, and that's gonna be very, very cool to see what they actually come up with, and when they actually find ways to make everything cheaper, more affordable, and just building a better infrastructure for everything. Yeah, I'm looking forward to remixing more and exploring stuff. Yeah, have an awesome day, DTube and the Steam blockchain. Bye bye.